See these? Sweet, right? They don't work. Well, today on Flip and Customize, we're gonna wire these lights up as well as throw on our $40 2-chamber Amazon muffler on Project on a Dime. Let's do this.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out.
In a nutshell, last week we got the grill on, the LED lights on, everything mounted, but nothing is wired up. And being a budget build, well, we have to be resourceful as to how we're going to wire things up. First of all, yeah, the headlights work, but the daytime running lights, which is this halo around here, does not work. So we're going to hook those up to a key-on power source today. We're going to wire up our fog lights and remove the stock muffler and tailpipe and put on our $40 2-chamber Flowshline knockoff Flowmaster muffler on to get this thing sounding a little bit better. Let me show you some of the stuff we got. All right, so I had a complete harness, wiring harness from Rough Country, and I actually really like their harnesses. It's got the relay in it, the switch in it, the fuse in it, everything ready to go. You literally put it on your battery and run your on-off switch in the truck. All I needed off of this was the wire connectors that went to the lights that went on a Jeep Gladiator. The Gladiator itself was completely pre-wired with its own harness, so I only had to use the pigtails off of this. So we literally just tapped these into the existing fog lights, route our harness, connect to the battery, which is also another problem on this thing, is our battery post. Let me show you what's going on with those. I got these post adapters. Basically what it is, the side post batteries, it gives you a spot to add additional circuitry onto that. So these will go on to these studs right here real nicely. And actually I sourced those on Amazon, I believe, and they were pretty cheap. We have our add-on fuses, so we can tap into our fuse box when we find a key-on power source to go to our daytime running lights. Let me show you what's going on with the battery. Oh yeah, and remember how we had no dash lights? Check that out. My boy Evan was able to troubleshoot and figure out that the actual dimmer switch itself was bad. So we swapped it out with our 91 S10 cab we have up there, at least for now. I'll buy another one for that cab, but at least we have one and it works. But this side post battery right here, as I hold the hood up with my back, somebody just took this full-time power wire off the alternator and jammed it. You see the stray wires coming off of this thing, literally jammed it underneath there. So a very much less than ideal situation on this positive battery post altogether. Not set up right. So we're gonna go ahead and change these out with the studs and get things mounted up properly as well. Oh yeah, remember how I was on the fence about putting a cap on Project on a Dime, but it had to be the right cap, had to be an aluminum cap. Well, my buddy Mike Hammond, we found one up on Facebook Marketplace. Bingo. And it was like 2.5 hours away, but my friend Mike Hammond was actually heading up there last night and was nice enough to pick it up and bring it back home with him. And I'm thinking we beat it up a little more, sand down some edges a little bit more, and throw it on there and see what it looks like. Now, there's no guarantees I'm gonna keep it on there. I will for the winter no matter what, because I think that's a great thing to have on the winter, but maybe even the summer depending on how cool it looks. But we'll see. We have one now and it was $80, so you cannot beat that. That was a great find, and thanks to Mike, we now have it here at the shop. All right, Steve will be here shortly. He had to go fix a furnace at his wife's shop, so the man does it all, which is awesome. But we're gonna get going on this thing and take the battery terminals off. I'm probably gonna pull the battery tray out as well. And I'm gonna be plastisoling that because it's really rusted. And at the same time, we did our bracket. I don't remember in the last video if I mentioned this, but I'll mention it again right now. Is we got rid of the original coolant reservoir, and now we usually put Jack Daniels bottles and stuff into our rat rod builds and themes, and it wouldn't be right if we didn't do it with this one. So I whipped up a bracket that mounts to the fender, and that bracket's gonna get plastisoled as well. And then we run our overflow hose over to the radiator, and we got our Jack Daniels theme continuing on to this build. So we gotta get those out and plastisol those as well. This will be good, I'm sure. Oh my God. I'm surprised this thing freaking started, man. That was barely on there. It's obviously not the right terminal. It's all corroded. And that was literally jammed under there. So clearly I'm gonna make a new wire, replace that, put those studs on, clean the terminals up. Let's pull this out right now, and we're gonna clean that up as well. And I'm thinking I'm gonna plastisol it, because, well, why not? All right, clearly it's probably due to be worked. So we're gonna throw this in the blast cabinet and plastisol it. So we basically plastisol through our powder coating gun, and it's a pretty cool product. It holds up well. We've done some wheels on it, and I think it'd be the perfect application for this tray as well. So why not? We got it apart. I think it's a good thing to do. All right, guys. So as you know, we're putting our high quality Flowshine muffler on our budget build, and I want you to hear the stock truck first. Steve's gonna give it a fire it up, and we can kind of hear the stock exhaust. It's actually complete and it's all there. It's almost a shame to take it off because it's not rotted. Go ahead, bud. Oh shit. There's no battery in the truck. Hold on. Take two. I've only had one coffee. That's probably why. But we took the battery out to blast it and plastisol it. So again with the exhaust. All right, bud. So clearly stock and very quiet, and we're gonna change that. Honestly, I have no idea how this is gonna sound. I've used this muffler like 4 different times on 3 or 4 different builds, but they're all V8s and V6s. This is a 4-cylinder, so I'm actually kind of excited to see how this is gonna sound. Pretty simple modification, but Steve's gonna throw it up on the lift and get the old system cut off. Like I said, it's all there. The cat's there, everything. So I'm leaving the cat. Yeah, I'm leaving the cat to let it convert her, so keep this thing legal. And we're gonna cut it off before the factory muffler. Install this muffler, downpipe, and a new hanger, and then we'll see how that sounds. All right, guys, we're under the truck, and as you can see, completely stock exhaust, stock catalytic converter, everything. And again, this is a California truck, so you would not see this in Maine. This stuff would be non-existent. It's all there. I mean, it's just gonna surface rust, so kind of a shame to cut it, but we're gonna cut it anyway. We're gonna cut it right here. We're gonna slide on our muffler with a clamp someplace in here. And then we're gonna come off with our downspout pipe, and then we're gonna come up with some type of hanger to go back into this, maybe even reuse this one, I don't know. And then that's as simple as that for the exhaust. So Steve's gonna go ahead and get this ripped out. We got our favorite tool with action. Of course, it wouldn't be flipping customized if we didn't have to customize the downpipe that no one's gonna see. But you know what, Steve? I think you killed it with a little teardrop.
Thanks, bud.
I like it.
How do you make a 4-cylinder go fast? Take a whole bunch of crap off it.
Look at that, complete with teardrop cut. We got ourselves a sound. Woo! That's gonna look nice and sound even better. All right, pretty simple. Like we said, band clamp, boom, teardrop tip. Weld it up and use the factory hanger. Let's see what it sounds like. All right, Steve, moment of truth. Let's hear this bad boy. Oh, it's got a nice tone. That's not bad. And you can hear it. It's not obnoxious. It's actually quieter than I thought. All right, fresh out of the oven, we got our battery tray in the plastisol. So again, it was like pitted and everything from rust, but this thing has got a thick coating of, basically it's a rubbery, very durable coating, and this stuff works awesome. So I'm gonna throw the battery tray back in. We also did the bracket for our Jack Daniels bottle. Go from there. Right, Steve found our key-on power source. It's actually this pinkish colored wire with a white stripe that actually runs over to the ABS module. So we're gonna tap into that. And I'm gonna make up a pretty simple little harness to go over to the feed for the daytime running light. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's the green one. And then we're gonna run over from that one to this one and back into here, and that'll take care of our daytime running lights. Then they'll be on whenever the key is on or the truck is running. So that's like an auto thing, like your new vehicles today. So get that done, and then we'll run the harness that we got over there. Steve's got the battery box going in, and we're gonna make another wire for the alternator as well. All right, kind of working in parallel with Steve here. He's already replaced the main power feed to the alternator, and put the new add a circuit studs on our battery so we can add the fog lights and then that alternator power wire as well. I've got the wire, like I said, we have our feed for the daytime running lights going over there, and this wire is going to run from this light over to that light under the bottom of the truck. I already took out the top screws and then lost them. I have to find those. And then the punch out on the firewall here, Steve's going to punch a hole in this and put a grommet in it, and then we're going to route the wire for the switch to run the fog lights through that. So we're going to lift it up right now so I can run the wire underneath the cross support. All right, we are recycling the old bolt for the coolant overflow, because remember we were using the jack bottle for our relay mount, and then I ran the light, the 2 wires for the fog lights down below the battery tray. We'll go under the truck and connect those, and this runs into the switch. Steve's running it in through the grommet. We're brooming that out, and then our 2 connectors with the fuse. Again, this is a rough country harness, is going to go right to the battery right there, and it's literally that simple. So we'll just go ahead and get this finished and get those lights plugged in, and I think we'll be good. All right, this is take 2, because take 1, one of the headlights didn't work because the connector ground was screwed up. So technically it's take 2. But all right, Steve, key on. Let's see these halos.
Key on.
Oh yeah, check that out. Check it out. So now we have key on halos, and go ahead with the headlights and high beam. Very, very nice. Back to low, and just a halo. Sweet, that is nice. Let's get these fog lights going. All right, guys, we got our lights mounted in there as we knew from the last episode, and we got the wires, the butt connectors, heat shrinked all in there, and took the excess wire in and cleaned it up, and tucked it up here with the rest of the wiring that goes below the radiator support. So now we're just gonna make the battery connector connection and test it out. All right, this is a take 1, kind of. All right, Steve, power on.
Fire in the hole.
Oh yeah, we got it. We got it. Sweet. Check them out. Check them out. Nice close up. Go ahead and key on it so we see what they look like with the halos.
All right, key on.
Oh yeah, that is pretty freaking rad, dude. Oh yeah. Made our connections. Everything's cleaned up there. We're good to go there. Beautiful. All right, guys, part of that hold down, as you know, I put the bracket on, it's been plastisoled, but now we got the bottle that's gonna sit on the bracket, and I've got some regular Romex house wiring that I've stripped down to bare copper, and I've done this on some of my other builds. I'm gonna fold this in half, twist it together like a braid, and then we're gonna wrap it around the bottle and around this. It doesn't take much to hold it, and that is gonna be what holds the bottle to the bracket. And then we just run the hose and drill a hole in the cap, and that is about it. All right, a little tech tip, if you got some wiring and this works, even for wiring that's not bare copper like this, you clamp it off, you hook it up to your drill, and you literally just pull the trigger, and then you get it to that point where you're happy with the amount of twist in it, and it's nice and pretty much even as well. All right, there we have it. We're all braided up there, and what we're gonna do now is see how I left an eyelet on there. We're gonna wrap it around our bottle, tuck it through the eyelet, and then fold it back over so it ends up clamping like that. So that's gonna be all that's gonna hold that bottle in there. And like I said, this being plastisoled is kind of rubbery, and they actually hold up. These bottles are pretty rugged. All right, coolant reservoir is in. What do you think, guys? We got our copper braided on there, holding it in place. She's good and tight. We topped it off. We have our clear tubing routed back here to the radiator for an overflow. We got our lights wired up. Steve, I think we're gonna wrap this episode up. I dare say that we're in a good position on this one.
Well, looking good.
I'm pretty sure I'm thinking the next time, I think in the next episode, we are sanding or gutting the interior. One of the two. We're gonna be sanding for patina, which probably is gonna happen first so we can get this thing to rust. And then we gotta gut the interior out for the bucket seat conversion too. So, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We really need this, and we need the views so we can keep making this content. But thanks again for watching. This is Scott and Steve from Flip and Customize. Catch you next time.